Lesson 7 now, and this is the Electron dot notation version of the teamwork game. Like the previous versions of the teamwork game that you've played with your students, this game gives your students many opportunities to practice writing the notations that describe the arrangement of electrons in atoms. The setup for the game is pretty much the same as the previous versions. Your students will be setting in teams, one behind the other. So here's one team, here's a second team. If you have more students, just align more teams. You can align more desks end to end and set up more teams. Like the other versions, this version of teamwork requires at least 3 different rows of desks. Again, you'll be stationed here at the front table. Players at the table farthest from you will have a doo-wop board and a supply of doo-wops. Students at the next table forward will have a piece of paper and pencil, and at the beginning of each round, the students at the front table have no supplies. Play begins with you calling out the name of an element. By referring to a periodic table, the students at the back table fill their doo-wop board. Once filled, they pass their doo-wop board to the next table forward. Based upon the information they have on the doo-wop board, these students at this table will write the ECN, the electronic configuration notation, for that element. They then pass the paper along with the doo-wop board forward to the front table. The students at this table then will circle the valence electrons on the ECN and then go ahead and write the dot notation for that element. Once they feel like they've got it completed correctly, they present it to you for review. Like the other versions of teamwork, if you find a mistake with the student's work, you point to the table and say, "Tommy, you didn't fill the board correctly." Or "Mary, you wrote the ECN incorrectly." And the work has to go back to those students to make the corrections. If another student finds a mistake while the work is being prepared, they can send the work back to the appropriate student as well. A variation on this game, which makes it even a little more exciting, is to go ahead and add a 4th table to your setup. This means that at the very first table, you'll still have students filling a doo-wop board. The new table will be students who write the orbital notation. They pass it to the next table, which writes the ECN, which passes it to the 4th table, which circles the valence electrons and then writes the dot notation. In this fashion, you can practice all the notations as well as filling the doo-wop board. After your students have played in this position for a few rounds, go ahead and have them rotate. The students in the front can move to the rear, and then everyone else can move one step forward. So once again, this is the Electron dot notation version of the teamwork game. Enjoy your time with your students.